Hey YouTube, how you doing? It's Max. Today I'm going to be playing a game that I recently came to discover. I don't know how I've not heard of Rimworld before. It's been out for quite a while. I don't actually know how long it's been out, but it's been out for a while. Um, and I guess I've just been showcasing games that I enjoy, I guess, in this kind of MOAT series. And this is kind of one of those play style games that I enjoy. It's a lot of different. It's a very customizable experience. I think I would describe it as like Sims meets Civilization. So like Civilization, where you're kind of this colony trying to survive on this world, but like Sims because you can kind of have these characters that are very customizable. The base game has a lot of randomized generated characters, but if you get this mods, which is another thing about this game, you can kind of create your own characters like Sims, and they're very in depth. I would almost describe it to like a tabletop like D&D with a lot of like random generated tables and stuff like that. And there's a lot of mods. So I have quite a few mods just because I've been experimenting with ones that I like. I've only had this game for like probably a week now, but I've been playing a lot of it, and so I just wanted to showcase that. So I'm going to do a new colony, just show you the entire experience. And so pretty much what this is choosing a scenario, and you only start with like 3 or 4 of these. I think these first 4, but like I said, I have like a bunch of mods that I've just been kind of experimenting with. And pretty much this kind of determines if you start off with 3 people, 5 people, 1 person, or just like a completely like naked person who is struggling to survive. That's like the hardest mode. The 3 people is I think the standard stuff, the classic RimWorld experience. You might think that like 5 people might make it easier, but it actually makes it a little bit more difficult based off what you start with. So you only start with like 200 silver, as opposed to this one, you start with 800 silver and like more stuff. Also, I don't know if this affects anything, but when I've been kind of experimenting with 3 people, your research time is a lot shorter. I don't know if there's anything in here that like mentions that, but it seems like the research time, you start with more stuff and it's a lot quicker to progress. So this is the, I guess, the standard mode. Um, and there might be some other factors. Like I said, I only had this game for a week, so it's I'm still learning some things. So that was your kind of scenario editor. Now you have your storyteller. Your storyteller is pretty much like this is your challenges, I guess you could say. So Cassandra Classic, if you choose Cassandra, she'll give you like progressively more difficult challenges, and this could be anything from, in my experience, to like people invading your base and attacking you, to they're pretty much like random events. You could have certain people who are refugees coming to your town. You could have weather events, stuff like that. So if you want just like the standard stuff, you got Cassandra Classic, you got Phoebe Chillax. So if you want more of a peaceful, you can do peaceful with all these. So just put toggle peaceful to make it so that you don't have any like negative events that occur. So this is kind of like if you just want, like if you're used to like Sims and you just want to like build stuff and like have fun that way, you do that. But if you want more of like a challenging experience, like a survival experience, you can kind of start going down this list and even customize it. Where losing is fun, you're pretty much like guaranteed to die. I don't know if that's actually, I mean, I've seen people on YouTube who like, successfully do this. I've only, been kind of experimenting. So, I don't know if I've like completely lost yet, but I've only been doing these like easy ones. So, but I've definitely seen some challenges. So that's the classic mode. You got the chillax mode, and then you've got the randomized. And this guy's kind of like a meme in the community, where he just gives you it. There's no real rhyme or reason to the events. It could be anything. And if you look up this game, you'll see a lot of different stories. That's a good thing about this game is it's a good game for. It has a lot of replayability because there's so much I guess just events that can happen that are memorable. And if you really are going for that kind of feel randy random, I'll go for it right now just because this is gonna be like just a fun video. But and I'll do like adventure stories, so maybe we'll get some stuff. But he usually just gives you randomized events. Oh, and I have to choose either reload at any time. So if you want to do like a Nuzlocke, which is like a Pokemon term, or if you like don't want to like if you want to like kind of challenge yourself, you can do like commitment mode, so you can't reload your progress kind of thing. So like if a colonist dies, you can reload a couple, 5 minutes or so ahead of time to like go back to that, which is what the reload is, commitment. You're kind of locked in if someone dies. So I'll do those stats. This is just more stuff to customize the experience. I have like a ton of mods, so I'm just gonna take off a lot of these ones. I really should go back into my mods and remove a lot of them, because a lot of them I don't know if I like or use, but just to kind of make it a little bit easier, it recommends you only have 11. So that kind of will limit that factor. And also the seeds, so kind of like Minecraft, where in Minecraft you have these different seeds, uh, like your world kind of randomly generates. This is kind of what determines that. So it's almost like a roguelike in a way, where like the world changes every single time you play it, which is kind of contributes to the replayability factor. So if I generate this world, it takes a little bit to load, but you'll see it randomizes the world, and then it will also randomize each of these little hexagons in here. So each of these hexagons, if you can see, is a randomly generated area. And so you can see the map is ginormous. You can, like, each one of these little hexagons is randomly generated when you click on it. And you can travel all across this map, and there's all these different biomes. So you got like the tundra biomes, you got desert biomes, you got rainforest, you got temperate, a lot of different places. So we'll just start in this random spot right here. And you can see this is like the pre-generated map. I think there's a mod that allows you to see that. You can even randomize it somehow, I think. But all of these little hexagons are randomly generated areas, and you'll see how big they are too. So it's a lot of space to explore. So I'll just go into this one for now. Um, right now I've chosen, I guess, my difficulty. I've chosen the uh, you know all the different story elements, the difficulty, what was it, the map, and now I'm choosing my characters. So in the base game, you can get 3 characters in this scenario, and then there's going to be 5 that are left behind. So you can kind of go through all these stats and kind of determine which kind of people you want. You can also randomize if you don't like someone, try and get someone different. Again, I'm not 100% sure which ones of these are come with the base game and what are mods included, but there's this character UI mod that can allow you to customize these characters if you want to have a even more kind of customizable play style. For this example, I'm just going to go through the random people. And I'm no expert at this game, but what I've kind of deduced based on stats. Oh, I guess I'll talk a little bit before I determine what I think is good. I'll kind of talk about these kinds of traits you get. So, all these different, the childhood and adult, these are like your backstory. So each character kind of has like a backstory, kind of like in D&D or a tabletop, where these can kind of impact their stats, their health, their relationships. So this character, Karina Slick Johnson, was an herb world urchin. So I guess they were kind of like a homeless kind of person, kind of roaming the streets of a city, um, as a child, and then as an adult they became a hunter. So you'll get some like really interesting like backstory out of this. Looks like they have pretty good melee stats. These fires kind of determine how passionate they are in that skill. So he's very passionate, or actually she's very passionate in melee, and then decently passionate in shooting, construction, animals, artistic. So they seem, while these stats kind of seem a little bit low, you'll see that some of these stats are like very low or very disproportionate. Again, a lot of randomization. And they don't have any health conditions, and no incapable of traits. So that's already like kind of a decent starting point. Whereas we've got this guy, Lloyd Skinner. He was a tender, and then a machine collector in his adulthood. So he has teetotaler, which means that he doesn't like the pleasure of chemicals. Again, this is also a thing I should probably bring up. There's a lot of different things in this game, so you can like have body modifications. You can be a cannibal. You can be like there's a lot of traits. Like there's misogynist traits. There's like just straight up addiction traits. People who don't do anything. Like if you're incapable of like doing certain things, like some people are non-violent, so they just won't fight back. There's some people who are uncaring, so they just won't tend to people. Um, there's people with like extreme addictions to where you have to you have to like kind of satisfy their addictions, otherwise they'll be pretty upset, and kind of like Sims where you kind of manage their like everyday kind of life, but with the conflict that their lives are always at risk. So if you're playing on like a higher difficulty, you should expect these people to die, and you're trying to recruit new ones and kind of manage all their like their mood, their needs, their and also maintain the whole of the colony survival. So again, this guy's not terrible. He's not good at shooting. He's really good at crafting and intellectual. And so intellectual, he's able to research, so that could be beneficial. Crafting, he's able to make things, as opposed to like Karina was not able to be crafty, but at least she can kind of fight back. So that already they kind of complement each other a little bit. This person's also good at mining, whereas Karina's not good at mining. So they kind of you kind of start to assign roles to these people of who can do what. This guy has a lot of hearing loss, so that's I guess I don't know how much that impacts things. I guess they are just a little bit inefficient in some things, but none of these people are incapable of anything, so that's already kind of a decent start. Whereas you'll see this person isn't capable of being artistic, although they are really good at medical and they are good at shooting. So some stats to look into. This person's incapable of dumb labor, which is kind of unfortunate. Dumb labor is your ability to haul things, which you'll see is very important and clean. Hauling, I think, is it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely kind of a downside. This person's unable to socialize with people, which can be kind of beneficial for trying to recruit new people into your colony. They're also mute, so I guess they can't really talk, and that's why they're incapable of social. But overall, these people don't really have any major health concerns, which is quite good overall. Um, I'm not going to get too particular about who I'm choosing, just because this is a showcase and I'm not going to do a long playthrough, so I'll just start. But this kind of can show you what all the different possibilities are, and you can see some of these people are really good at three things, which is this person's 17 at shooting. So this is probably a pretty good pool to work from, but I'll just start with these three, just to kind of show you um, what the game plays like as well. And so this is a game that I could definitely see myself playing long term, especially with all the mods. You can really kind of customize your experience. Like there's like some mods that like kind of turn this into a completely different type of game, like a hotel management system you can kind of do. But I'll start here. So I'm gonna pause the game real quick just to see what this map kind of looks like. And so what I've kind of noticed through playing is you really want to prioritize defense. So being in a defensive location is pretty advantageous. Doesn't I usually have been playing on maps with a lot of mountains where like there might be like a little like enclave or enclave where you can kind of like set up a choke point to like kind of kill people. Looks like this water area might be the best, but you can also toggle some of these features like the plant growth in the area. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted, not the plant growth, the fertility. And so these dark green spots are where, since food is going to be a priority, you're going to want to set up farms on these dark green spots, just so you can your plants will grow faster. So right now I'm kind of looking somewhere in this area, just because we got some green, we have some natural protection with these kinds of landforms. Right here is also looking, but out in the open over here, there isn't a lot of fertility and there isn't a lot of natural protection. So I think I could start to create some choke points here. So maybe I'll get my guys to uh, start up in this area. And so there's a lot of different user interface can be quite a lot to take in. There is a tutorial mode, which I strongly recommend if you're first time playing this game, just to kind of get your bearings of what to do. But because I want to start in this general area, I'm going to set up a stockpile zone. And so what this kind of is a place where all the colonists can drop off anything that's necessary. I'm not 100% sure where they uh, landed. Oh, okay, I guess they're landing right here, which is really nice. Um, and so one thing that I kind of want them to do is start hauling all this stuff. So I'm going to allow everything. So they pick up all this stuff. You can, I don't know why it allows you to, it will forbid you from picking up things. I guess if there's something you don't want them to pick up, it automatically sets it to that. But I'm going to allow everything so they can start gathering resources and putting them here. And I will haul urgently all this stuff just because I want all that. See if there's anything that kind of flew a little bit away. Looks good. And I'm going to check my character's stats one more time just to see. So this person's good at construction, so they might start building us a base. This person, where's Squirt at? Oh, I guess Squirt hasn't landed yet. There he is. This person is good at crafting and mining, so maybe I'll have him do some mining. And then this person's good at shooting and melee. I guess they're okay at shooting, but better than the other people. So Slick is really going to be probably our hunter and our fighter, and even I guess our animal tamer to start. So I really want to prioritize food, and you'll see that this is a game where there's a lot of it keeps throwing complications at you. So like if I go hunting and get food, I'm gonna need to start uh, setting up a some production. So a butcher table if I want to go hunting, I'm gonna have to, or a butcher spot where I want to butcher the animal and collect hide to make clothing, or meat to eat. But then I either need to make a choice of, do I want to eat this meat raw, or do I want to cook it and get some benefits? But if I cook it, that's going to require like wood as a resource, so I'm going to have to have people chop down wood. And you'll notice plant 6, that's okay. So I'm going to have to assign this guy to probably collect some wood as well. So instead of mining, because I don't really know if I want to do mining first, I'll probably want to collect wood so I can make some of this furniture. Also need to collect wood so this person can start making a house. I could collect stone to make a house, but you see that this kind of, it poses a lot of obstacles for you to overcome consistently. And you'll see that as I'm kind of doing this, people will start to attack me with those random events. So I guess we'll get started. I don't know if I have I'm just going to put it on normal speed as I'm kind of processing this. But I want, oh wait, forgot to assign their work. So this is another thing. So it's a very automatic based system, so you don't have to manually click do this, do this, do this. You can just say do this in general, and then whoever is assigned these tasks will go ahead and do it. So if a fire happens, I like to put firefighting as a high priority. I also like to, if these people are injured with life-threatening things, then they can go get healed. Looks like I don't really have a super good doctor, although this guy will be the doctor, so I'll prioritize that. Bed rest, that's when they get tired, they go to sleep. Hauling, so if I want to haul something uh, quickly, I want them to kind of prioritize that. I might change that as I go. Basic, that's just kind of basic stuff like turning on stuff. Warden, I don't really need to focus on that yet, neither with animal handling or entertaining guests, which I think is pretty much a modded thing. Cooking, looks like I didn't really get a good cook. Uh, so I guess you're going to be my cook even though you're not very good at it. And then that's going to be my hunter. So it will kind of, you'll hover over and you can see the average relevant skills of that person to help you assign the person that's best for this job. You'll be the constructor. I guess you'll be the grower. I guess we'll come back to that one, so you should mind. I guess you'll do plant cutting, although I kind of want you to prioritize growing. And then we'll close all this stuff just because that's kind of later in the game. Hauling, I'll put that up there. Cleaning, that can be a little bit important later on, and then you'll be my research person. So just kind of organizing what I want people to start doing as I'm assigning tasks. And then if I go back to orders, I can start looking at the fertile ground. So I will start making farms for food, because food is pretty important. So we'll make just a couple farms, and it's good to kind of spread them out, because this game pays attention to detail. With this might be too many farms, but I guess you can't have too much food. I guess you can, where like if you have too much food, it spoils and stuff. But if you spread out your farms, then you can. If you spread out your farms, then if one gets caught on fire or receives a blight, then it doesn't ruin your entire stock. So I'll make this my rice farm area. I think I have potatoes somewhere, and I don't know if I can grow heal root yet, but I'll do, yeah, no one's high enough for heal root. Heal root's pretty important for healing medicine, and a lot of this is just DLC. Cotton's pretty important for cloth, for making clothes, because come winter time, you're definitely going to want some warmer clothes. So I've got the stockpile stuff there. I think I have enough to uh, build some houses, but I'm also going to have this guy do some hunting. So hunt a couple squirrels, and then I want someone to start building. So if I could plan this out a bit, but just for the sake of example, I'll just kind of make a house like this. I kind of like odd numbers so you can have a door. So this is 7 by 7, and then this is 7. So this is kind of what I have to start. And in this area, I'm gonna just put like some sleeping stuff. So I don't know if I have enough to make beds. How much wood do I have total? I have enough kind of for a bed, so maybe I will 3 beds. It's better to make bedrooms, but because we have limited resources, I don't want to give them all bedrooms. You kind of have to bite the bullet a lot in this game. So I have just a plain shelter, some beds. I'm not sure where people are going to be coming from. So I do want to eventually make some defenses for this house. Maybe I'll do like a what would it be? This is probably super inefficient, but I kind of want to start making some choke points in some places. So if I start making some barricades like this, maybe I'll how many? So that's about 9. So if I go 9 like that, I can start developing these little areas where I can kind of predict them to come. Oop, don't want that. And they will I can kind of plan a little bit ahead of where they're going to be coming from, and I can kind of set up my guys a little bit strategically to again, this isn't the best because now my storage isn't really in my area, but again, just like an example. And then I also need some more wood cut, so we will have a person cut some wood. And this is kind of a decent starting area. So I'll try to speed it up just to see if anyone attacks me, um, just to see if there's any events that come. Looks like I'm running low on storage space. I need a drop spot. So there's a dumping zone option as well. I'll just make it right here. And so that's an area where they can just dump this kind of this junk off. So you kind of have like a warehouse area, and then you have like a waste management area. But yeah, I'll speed this up, see if there's anything, and you can see like the construction skill, they'll botch some stuff, and that will be a waste of resources, which you kind of want the person with the better construction doing the construction for the less chance of them botching something. And that applies to everything that I've noticed. So like if you're doing crafting or something, you'll waste resources if the person is not good at crafting, or they will uh, take longer amounts of time. I don't know all the different mechanics, but it really does feel like they've paid attention to detail in this game. Um, Also, I noticed I have that guy hunting, but I don't have anyone doing a butcher table. So maybe I'll do like a butcher table here, which does consume a lot of wood, and also maybe a fueled stove so they can eat. And that might be good to, I think, this guy, I'm going to prioritize making this stuff so that they can at least cook some food when the hunter comes in with the dead animals. But yeah, a lot of this is one of those games where you have the highest speed on a lot. You kind of speed through some stuff, especially as they're kind of more in this automated state. You can see those guys are going to sleep, so sort of like Sims, you kind of fast forward through the sleep cycle. And I don't know if we'll get to any events in this video of what happens if you get attacked, but you can look those up. This is kind of just a video to document that I've enjoyed playing this game, and I recommend it if you haven't played it before. It is $30 ish, so it's a bit steep, but it has really good reviews, and I think the average playtime uh, for people who have bought this game is 120 hours, which is a lot of time. So if this game seems like it's up your alley and is remotely interesting to you, then check it out. I don't think it's intended to be multiplayer, but I have seen some mods or I've heard of people who have had mods who there are like people who have created like multiplayer servers or something. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but apparently you can play with your friends. I haven't played with any of my friends with this game, mostly solo. I don't know if the experience is needed for multiplayer, just because you kind of can solo manage all the people pretty efficiently. But there might be some creative play you can do with friends of like maybe you have one person that you kind of manage, and your friends only have one person that they can manage. You work together. Um, but it's not as like interactive as you can see. You kind of just like tell them what to do, and they do the stuff. And a lot of the, uh, I guess a lot of the, you have to like kind of think on the fly when you do get attacked, and also there's a lot of, I guess later in the game you have to go do missions where you would come to this map, the world map, and you'll see like these quests kind of pop up, and you'll have to form these caravans like this, and you'll have to like tell them to go to this certain area, and there's an estimated travel of like 1.8 days just to get there, and then probably 1.8 days to get back. And so let me close out of this. So while you're gone with those people, if I go back to my place, you'll have to form a caravan and have your, I guess, colony run efficiently without those people contributing. So if I put my person who does construction on this caravan, it might be harder for me to, build things while they're gone. So I kind of have to play with that downside. Although later on in the game, you'll need people who can do that kind of, who can go on caravans to kind of progress in the game. So there are these like kind of added challenges, and it is really, I think it's pretty fun when you do form a caravan, and you kind of have to infiltrate like enemy bases or abandoned places, and you kind of set your people up kind of like with their like army outfits on, their combat outfits, and you kind of have to um, go through. So you kind of want enough people to where you can kind of infiltrate a base without them dying. But if you get attacked yourself, you want enough stuff left behind to where you don't lose your base overall. And there's like things where, if you are getting overrun by a base, it looks like there's like ways of you can kind of like escape your base and kind of start over with what you have. So it is very interesting. Also, I guess one more thing I'll talk about before I end this video, since we're at a half hour, is this research system. And so this research system is sort of the timeline progression of what you want to do to get to the end game. So at the end, you're kind of like working with interplanar. I haven't gotten this far, so I can't really speak on what exactly it is. But you get these like star fighting things. So I assume you like build a spaceship and like go into space and start like this world map might become like a little bit more interesting with different like planets and stuff. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like there is a lot you can do with like space, because this is a sci-fi game. Um, but at the beginning, you're doing like basic things like tree sewing and building bows and brewing beer, smithing, and there's like prerequisites. So in order to get the heavy crossbow, you need to unlock the great bow, and in order to unlock like this kind of armor, you need like better machinery, and there's tech electricity. So you can see all the different like um, complications. And as you kind of progress, there's that general thing of you need better resources in order to maintain these things to make your life easier. So there's a lot to keep you busy. This is just a very bare bones. You kind of build a base, you build some defenses, and that's kind of like the start of this base. But yeah, I think that's kind of a good uh, explanation of how this game kind of works to start. Again, if you want to try it, check it out. It's about $30, but yeah, that's all I got. Have a good day.